Oh, no. There we go. All right. I know it. All right. Well, good morning, everybody. Morning. Thank you for your time, your patience through our fun technical difficulties. We learned a lot of signing up here, and now it should be easy to go for our next 3 classes after this. We're also learning. This is our second marketing class together as a company of a group of pros that do creative services for business owners in the area. My name is Sonia. I started out with an event company a little over 10 years ago called Simply Events. During COVID, I fully had a breakdown and realized that the event marketing world has completely changed. And what did that mean for me? Over that period of time, I started holding marketing classes with a friend of mine at the time, David, and Pierre, that I was with, who also does marketing. He focuses on video production and core marketing values that you build your business on so your brand can continuously evolve as you're marketing. So that's like our main goal out of this, is to teach you guys core marketing skills and branding skills, also to be able to identify your perfect customer, because the question of all business evil usually leads back to our perfect customer and not identifying them to the degree that's actually going to grow your business. So that's what we are here to do today. No big feats. Today, we're focusing on the perfect customer resume. I break it down into like a little resume. And then also, Sabrina is going to be teaching us visual brand consistency along the way as well. We're going to scroll it down. There we go. So here's our agenda today. This is an open forum. Anytime you have questions, please raise your hand. That is what makes these marketing classes magical. It's actually the collaboration. But as we build your marketing program, if you were to hire us, that is the actual magical part of it as well, is teaching you how to be excited about your marketing and your brand and how to talk. And it's like such a collaboration process that, yeah. How we met each other is I was on my 3rd website developer. The first 2 failed to produce me a website over a period of 1.5 years. I went in circles with these 2 different companies. I then met somebody else who wasn't able to take the job. They led me to Sabrina and her company. She was able to provide me a new website, a brand refresh, and we're still working together and helping brands together after that because I enjoyed the collaboration process. I was able to build something along with her. I felt part of the process. It was awesome. And that's what we try to build at Simply Promotions. I connect you to different pros. Maybe you need a website, maybe you need a brand kit, maybe you need marketing, maybe you need a marketing program, maybe you need an in-person event. Whatever it is, we have pros to connect you to that, and then to be able to build a program so you have foundation to build on. Any questions or anything so far? We're going to get into some fun and how to support each other just a little bit. So we're just going to move into that. We're going to take the 5 minutes to do that. We have a little sheet to help us out to get through it. You know, so we kind of did the introduction. I'm just going to kick it over to Miss Sabrina real quick to see if you want to add anything.
Anything, not my presentation right now, right?
No, not yet.
Showed up and love our partnership and I'm excited, and I hope that everyone brings or takes something tangible away from our work really hard on this. So our presentation, I hope that you get one thing from it, and I'll be happy.
If this is not perfect in the beginning, we will post the presentation on our website. We will post the workbook on our website. So if you're online and you're missing those things, or you don't have, you want the presentation to rework your workbook, or you want to reprint your workbook later to actually rework your perfect customer or your visual brand, it'll be available on our website and also on our social media. Our handle is the same, simply promotions.marketing on everything. And also, we are available for you to reach out to at any time. So this is a little dash of the fun we're going to have. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 of us in the room. So everybody grab your phones real quick, if you can, even you people, you know, on the Zoomies. And we're just gonna do a quick roll call. We're gonna introduce ourselves. I suggest you get on the platform of your choice. Right now, we're trying to grow our Instagram. So I'm going to get on Instagram. You're more than welcome to get on Facebook, TikTok, Snapchat, LinkedIn, all of the things. And so we're just going to introduce ourselves. As we introduce ourselves, I'm going to look for the company on that platform and I'm going to follow you.
Oh, cool.
Okay. And then after that, we're just going to do a quick check-in. If you can, at the same time, and multitask it. Maybe take a photo of the people around you.
I would love one of these ones.
Yeah, you know, so if anybody wants photos at home Zoom folks, let's do the exact same thing. So we're gonna photo first. It looks like everybody who's ready. I'm coming over here. Okay. Okay.
It is my name, so.
It is, you know, and marketing is supposed to be fun.
Yes.
Part of the reason why I do this, and let's have you introduce yourself, and I'll tell you guys the reason why I do this. Who are you and who are you with?
My name is Liz Miniter. I am the owner of Change Starts Here for an exterior cleaning service company. You can find us on Facebook or Instagram, Change Starts Here, power washing services. So we keep your outdoors clean and become better at frustrator tagline.
All right, you got new followers. Simply promotion marketing. Awesome.
That makes me easy to find you.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me go first.
Yeah.
I don't have to do any work. And I'm just followed.
Alex Felias with Wells Fargo Advisors. I'm a financial advisor.
Okay, well, I've been with Wells Fargo for 12 years. I think I already follow them, but I'm gonna double check just to be sure.
You can follow me on there. I do a lot of posts.
Okay,
It helps too if you can come.
and what's your handle?
You can just look under my last name, Felios, Fellios.
Fellios, Alex?
Alexander.
Gotcha.
Uh,
You followed.
Thank you.
What about you, ma'am?
Okay, I'm Terry with Penny Ridge Pools.
Okay.
And we are on Facebook under Penny Ridge Pools.
All right.
Yay.
Sabrina, will you grab them on Facebook if you can, or have them on the Instagram? Thank you. And what about you right there?
Hi, I'm Jocelyn, Director of Sales at Herman Power Adventures Tampa Bay. So we're the zipline course over here in Oakland. Our Instagram handle is Zip on Tampa Bay and very aesthetically pleasing. Very nice photos.
We don't be all of this for that.
I'm Jerry Wilson, I'm the chief that's all dumping. We're I'm the operator of the dumpster room, event clean out, clean out, junk removal. And I sent you a message on Facebook.
Thank you. And you, ma'am?
I'm Liz Mendez. I'm Director of Relations at Hope Villages of America. We are a nonprofit located in Pinellas County, and we are expanding to all
Okay.
counties.
What's your handle on the old socials? Do you have a handle on Instagram?
So there are Hope Villages.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your tech help as well.
John Gibson with Just Right for your IT department.
And nice.
Just Right, see on Facebook, Just Right Computers is the business page, also Just Right IT. And Instagram, also Try to get that.
I love that. It's one of those, is anyone here a doctor?
All right. If I missed you in this round, I will go through it again, because I took some
Chat, you
notes.
can tell us theirs as well.
So, and what about you guys with the Zoomies? Do you want to give us your handles real quick? So we can all follow you guys, to keep you a part of the presentation, Miss Sheila and Angie. How about you first, Sheila? Sheila, what's driving? I'm concerned
Yeah,
now.
so like my duty.
Okay, all right, Sheila, we're gonna come back to you. And how about Angie? Do you want to give us your handles and come off mute? Going once. Angie going twice. That's okay. If you put your handles in the comments, because you're not able to comment right now, you might be multitasking, as a lot of us always are, trying to do 4 things at once. So just put it in the comments and we will make sure to get that out on the channel so everybody can follow you guys, so you feel a part of this presentation as well. And we're gonna go right into it because I know we're a little behind and we have lots of information to cover. So we're actually going to start with your perfect customer resume. That's going to be this first page here that you guys are going to see. Okay. All right. Believe it or not, questions first, actually. Who is an entrepreneur themselves? Who owns the business? Okay. Okay. Do you guys currently do the marketing as well as run the business?
Unfortunately.
I have a-
Completely change that.
Okay, there.
I don't want to do anything anymore, but I just do all of it.
Okay.
It's a combination. I have a company I work with, but I do a lot of art.
Okay. What about you?
I do most of the marketing myself. However, I am super blessed to know a lot of people who also help by sharing my.
That's
ideas
awesome.
and stuff. So, yeah. It's really a community affair.
It is. You have to have a team.
Yeah.
And what about the rest of our folks in the room? What do you guys do for your brands?
LinkedIn,
LinkedIn.
a lot of this.
Okay.
Chamber stuff.
In-person
Yeah,
networking and
in-person,
learning
yeah.
and just connecting.
Right,
Okay. LinkedIn primarily though,
Yeah.
okay?
mostly. We're not,
Yeah.
there's a lot of compliance involved with my company, so, yeah. They really only approve LinkedIn.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay, so my boyfriend owns a company, small company, but I just started kind of doing marketing and stuff for him. So, right now we're on Facebook and we do have a website. And I'm doing a lot of networking and stuff. We're kind of just really getting started in this. So,
Website, Facebook, and other things. So finding a perfect customer sounds perfect for a lot. Okay.
yeah.
You?
Yeah, so we have a smaller, but maybe actually now. I'm mostly in sales, so I'm just networking all the time, but we, for like marketing, Google, all the social media platforms, including like TikTok, is a huge one now, that has really big. when, The marketing works on that.
Yeah, so you primarily do it for the networking and connections. So
Yeah.
finding your perfect customer will be important as well, so you're not selling to everyone.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. And what about you, my darling, over here? I don't know your first name.
But, so we have a PR company who works with us. I do most of the direct mail pieces that usually find. We have a graphic finances. It's a little bit of big group working together. We have all social platforms, we are radio.
Is there also a nonprofit?
Yes. For example, I do most of the Spanish interviews, especially in Spanish. But yesterday, last meeting, somebody jumped in, they called me, hey, I have an interview, 30 minutes for you all that. It's really dynamic,
Right.
it's really good, with, sharing.
Yeah. So it's amazing how also I heard there's lots of hands in what you do. And it's funny with marketing and sales, I feel like that. So you having a very solid message of who your perfect customer is obviously that important, especially the more hands that you're involving into contacting people, because marketing is to every, to multiple folks. So who are you talking to? And the way that we identify that with our customers and clients is, what do you do best? You really have to get inside that. Because today, it's not about what you're selling, right? It is about what you're selling. These are the 4 things that I identify first. And then I go into my 10 questions and start to actually create a customer resume. So what, who, how, and where are your first 4 fundamentals when you're like, you know what, I want to make a social media post. I want to make a plan to consistently contact my perfect customer. That's our number 1 mindset that has to change. A plan to consistently contact your perfect customer is not putting out social media posts every day. If you're constantly thinking about what do I need to put out to market, then we haven't done this. So let's get into that, right? You really have to visualize not only what you do best, but what customers do you serve best also. Because we want to provide 5-star service as a business owner, right? Whatever that might be. It can be super simple. Let's take Great Cuts, for example. Great Cuts wants to provide you a haircut. Their perfect customer has hair on their head. They do not define the type of hair you need to have. They do not define who their barber is or hairstylist is cutting it. You should have hair on your head and you're going to be in and out quickly to get a haircut. That is how they communicate to their customer. So their customer is not everyone. It's people with hair on their head. For me and my brands, just to go a step further, right? My perfect customer tends to be multi-brand folks, people that have been in business for several years and trying to find their perfect customer and how to speak to them specifically, because they're tired of wasting their time on 20 proposals a week when they could be writing 2. Right? So if we're talking to everyone again, we're actually not talking to our customers. So who are we talking to? Comes after, what are we selling? What are we offering them? What is the experience? Not really just about the product. Then we identify who is that basic demographic. Then we're talking basics here for step 1. 25 to 45. If you're hauling junk, right? It could be people moving into the area. It could be people moving out of the area. What does that family look like? Do they have kids? Do they have kids at all? Do they have a dog? So if, for example, for the junk example, I want somebody who's a multi-family home because their junk intake is going to be larger than a single female moving out of a car. So I want the larger order in any question. I broke it down 3 different ways, so I'm gonna stop breaking it down, but that's the biggest thing we have to really start to understand is marketing. I'm talking to several people, but I can choose who those several people are very specifically. And with your charity, who is your best customer that gives the largest donation? Right? So I have to identify that, who comes in for parties, to the zip line course, right?
Yeah.
But also, like, what does that mom or parent look like? How many kids do they have? What's the size party that we want to cater towards? Because if we're catering towards every party, our staff is exhausted because we're giving the same service to 3 people that we could be giving to 30. So, and then how and where go together also. You know, so think about that. On this board, these 2 go together. On the second, you know, nod, these 2 go together. On the presentation we're talking about. And if you're on the worksheet, we're still on the left side of identifying what we do best, what customer we serve best, knowing that not everyone is our perfect customer now, right? We're going to throw that mindset away. And it's not about what you're selling. The focus, you know, the marketing is on how we're going to now sell it to that person. Check this for me. What's the most important benefit? And this is on the worksheet. Here are the benefits of knowing your perfect customer. You can identify with one of these. You can identify with 3 of these. Again, these are giving you more answers to how you should be talking to people. So what's most important to you? Clarity on what marketing to create and where to post it. Better sales conversions and less time spent on pointless proposals. How to market your product service so that your audience will be interested. For me, all 3 of these are super important, but for us, because we are a small company that has 5 pros that do this, it behooves us to know our conversion rate and how we can achieve people to get into our audience, you know, and identifying what I want that customer to do when they get there. That is the actual conversion. Okay, so you got them into your pond, they're in the pond. Are they going to return to the pond? How do they get back? How do they, you know, so you got to ask them to follow you. Are you giving them more information about finances? If they're not following you, how are they going to get that information? So I now have to create content that is asking for the action that I want, that is very specific to who I want to talk to. And I'm going to direct them on where to get this information on a regular basis. Where is that? And so that's a brief on content funnels, because perfect customer and visual branding leads into where am I sending this person? If I'm sending them to a contact form, just a little tip, you can have the fanciest website in the world and all of these fancy things, you know, so if you're getting people into the website and they're not converting, there's something on the website you have not gave them enough value and trust to convert. If they're not getting to the landing page, it's your content. You have to test the conversion. It's not about the reach and the views anymore, right? What did they do when they got there? Did they do anything? And how am I going to contact? Now we're even thinking further. I'm thinking about my customer experience. They've now landed on this contact form, and above that contact form, I build value. If I'm here, you will receive this free worksheet so you can find your perfect customer. You will also receive a visual brand guide. If you want more, follow us on social media. So I asked you actually to do 2 call to actions in those 3 sentences. I asked you to follow us. And if you want more of this information, I'm now collecting your email address so I can communicate with you long form. Your perfect customer. Are they a short form contact, social media, into your funnel, or are they a long form contact? Website, trust building, email marketing, because I'm building that trust, because you should trust me with your hauling. You should trust me with your birthday party. If you want to donate back locally, you should donate to this charity because we do this for super clear. 2 call to actions even. So you've identified how, where, what, and who, and these are in their order. So now you're really gonna start defining your track. We're gonna go to the other left side of the worksheet here. And I'm gonna just move this little stinker along here. So we're now going into the questionnaire, and you really look at this as a resume, like it's the way I tell business owners to look at this. Because if you can't identify who exactly you need to work for you, it's the exact same math problem when you're thinking about, I need to hire someone, as with your perfect customer. Your perfect customer will continuously evolve, and that's how you're going to get multiple content pillars to talk to. So right now, we don't need to take over Instagram. We don't need to take over Facebook. We don't need to take over online for that. I need to be the authority in zip lining party. I need to be the authority in calling. And this is how I can help you. If my content is always one way, this is what I have. 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 I have no reason to come back because I know what you have. But if this is what I have, here's my brand story, and here's some helpful information on how to get ready for your move. Now you're giving me value. Oh, he's trying to help me move. That's great. Okay. 5 steps on how to shorten your moving process. 5 steps on how to clear out junk from your garage. All of these things equal business to me if I'm the hauling gentleman, but I have to paint the picture, show them how I can help better, besides saying, I offer this service. I offer this service, but this is my customer experience. So our 10 questions are super simple. We can buzz through these. Let's envision, now we envision that perfect customer. We kind of thought about how we want to interact with them a little bit. We've thought about the experience we want to provide and where they're funneling, where they're flowing. Is that nice and simple so that I can actually get the conversion of what I'm asking for? So here they are. What is their age? Try to be as specific as possible. I like to give my customer a name. I actually kind of do these first, the ones in bold here. I give them a name. We're gonna call her Sabrina. Okay. And what is Sabrina's hobby? Where's she spending her time? Right? Is she going to be able to spend time on your content to consume it, to make a decision? If this is my perfect customer, that's how I'm creating my content. And then what are her values? Is it important for her to spend time at home? You know, if it is, again, you know, what is she doing while she's at home? She probably spends a lot of time online because I know she's a marketing professional. So she's going to be diving and consuming into educational, you know, content to consume about that. So if I'm not falling in the educational content, how am I reaching? You see why educating your customer provides so much value, because they lead back to you in so many different ways besides going, this is what I have. Okay. So let's take the product out of it. How are you helping people and how do you best serve that people? Those are your marketing pillars. And so we talked about it a little bit, giving name, hobby, and value. So then we're going into their age. Specifically, my clients typically are about 35 to 50, always. They have multi-brands that they are either launching a new product, you know, and they need help building a marketing program or an on-site promotion. They're a large mall or they're a large charity needing fundraising. So me knowing this, I'm now putting out content that's going to align with reaching other large charities to do their fundraising activities. I'm going to put out content that's going to teach people how to do marketing, because that's what I do. And I help develop brands and connect them to other marketing professionals. So I really start, and then even think, how many kids do they have? Every single one of my clients has more than 2 kids. When I was putting this presentation together, it really goes, when's the last time you did this, Sonia? Because my perfect customer has actually changed from creating this paper last night. So I should be taking a look at now updating my content funnels and really like changing that visual. And so this is the big one. This is how you set. And it's what worries them, what keeps them up at night, right? So these are your pain, these are the products and services you have that benefit their pain product. Typically, one of the largest things is people want to make sure that the job is done and it's done right. And it's done easy, simple. Those 3 things. So in your job specifically, your industry specifically, how can you help those 3 specific things in your industry? Because people just want the job done right, simple, and timely. Can you provide the information to them to close them through your marketing? So by the time they contact you, I know exactly what you do. I know you provide small and large trailers. I need a large trailer because I have a 5, family home. Is that so? If you start putting out content telling people the size trailer they need for their home empty, all of a sudden you're now selling large trailers instead of small. Just that simple adjustment. And it's the same thing with the charities. If I identify who my large donors are, then I know how to get more large donors. So I build this for each little content pillar in my company. I identify first what the product is. So you start with one and then you build from there, The other really important questions on here, we're just going to go through really fast and kick over to Ms. Sabrina for our visual branding, is when it comes to the industry, what is important to them? Do your market research, right? Also check your conversions. Before going into this, I am looking at my insights. Who am I currently talking to? I want to build this perfect customer, it's a nice, I've found my perfect person to work for me, but now I must, what is their experience again? And not to babble, so I keep bringing it back to that, but you really have to focus on what you are giving back to build your content and tell your story. What do you like, or what do they like to spend their money on? Well, we're asking them for a transaction, so that's super important for us to know. And what are they struggling with right now? So there's 2 questions in here that again go back to the pain point. And so when we figure out those pain points to help that person, that's how we equal more and more and more success with this. So let's just think about for a second, and I'm going to go around the room and just take questions before we go into Sabrina. Think about where they spend their time, and most importantly, what customer experience are they looking for? This is how we know if our business is a good fit for each new customer we attract. Everyone used to be my perfect customer when I was in the event business. You were a vendor, you sold things, great, sign up. Great, sign up. Great, sign up. And they weren't a perfect fit. Yes, they fit events. However, there's a lot of other things that go into it. So you guys can relate to that, I'm sure. The people come in, you write a proposal, you put it out. Now all of a sudden, you're in a terrible relationship with the client. You're like, how did I get here, right? So I know I've talked a lot about visualizing it. Give me anything. Questions you guys have about specifically visualizing your perfect customer, other scenarios, questions about how to reach someone. Start with people in the room and then go online. What you got? We start calling people out.
I guess for me, and again, I'm just starting with this protect website. Trying to enhance that enough so that we're getting us to that site. That's what I'm trying to fix that. You know,
Have you
and to
looked-
get him up higher on like the Google, you know, you Google pool services near me, how do we get?
There's a lot of SEO that goes into your website. Mhm. But besides from the SEO, have we looked into the analytics so we know who is going there currently? And when they go there, where are they going? What's our most popular page on our website? You can take the what's the most popular to any social media platform you're currently on, LinkedIn, whatever. What's the most popular thing you put out? And where are they not going? You know, where's dead space? So if we start also removing in marketing and branding is also removing the stuff that doesn't serve our clients anymore. So when they do come there, it's super clear what I want you to do. Here's the 3 things you can do. You know, maybe it's 2, maybe it's 1. But do you have that very open on the front page? Like, because people just want to make a decision quickly nowadays, in my experience. So how can your experience help them make that decision quickly? That is where you start, and then also look at your analytics, because if you don't know who you're currently talking to, you can't develop where you want to go. Mhm.
Related to all, getting all this information, some of it sounds like it's interviewing your current, what you consider your perfect customers. What tools would you use to get things like the analytics or to determine what's your most popular resource or market out there? If not through interview, you have tools that you
Loomly for me helps me with all of my posting to go out. So I look at their analytics, you know, whatever auto poster you may be using, or you could be using the platform specifically. A good old fashioned dive into those social media platforms, I highly suggest, regardless of what app you're using. But Loomly helps me, also just tracking the data in an old fashioned sheet. Honestly, I don't use anything fancy. The most fancy things I use is when I ask her for a SEO website guide.
I would like to comment a little bit on these too, because the bigger ones are LinkedIn, Google, but Facebook and Instagram, and internally, they have analytics that are so incredibly useful, you probably know where to find them. So as we all know, Meta just solidified itself, and at first it was super frustrating because it wasn't put together, but they have given us so many useful items and business owners. You can see the age range of who's looking at your posts, you can see how many link clicks you're getting from everything. You just have to go inside the profile and find anywhere that says insights, and we'll go down the rabbit. But it's very, very useful, and all that links back to the website.
Yeah.
Are you familiar with what? Is out there that will actually show you?
So Google is really great for that, but I have internal analytics systems that we use to be pulled from so many sources, and then Sonia's seen that. It's a lot to consume, but.
Is it okay if I share that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Lucky Orange, I was orange.com for $10 a month. Like how long somebody's been on the page, you can actually watch where they click, give you so you see what's the most popular.
Just like website bounce rate, right, for social media.
Well, this is what
Oh, okay.
you just look, but it's inexpensive. Actually shows where the interest is, and it shows them scrolling and everything. Captures.
Yeah.
Actually, I mean, literally watch. Speed it up. Everything. So somebody's on there for 10 minutes. They're watching. Where they look, they go up, they go down, and they click here, and it shows you where their person.
I look a lot of analytics. Okay.
So it's
Really
very,
interesting. So
very
where
interesting.
people is coming. Just say where, because sometimes there is.
I had a page on my website that had a high bounce rate, so, we've been working on fixing that specifically because it's one of our main, content pillars. So at this point, we've built up the 3 content pillars. So when we start, Google Analytics gets plugged in, we do everything by hand with the social media, but we just comb people's stuff and go, okay, this was their best post here, this was their best post here. Now, the website tells you where the most traffic is coming in from on a regular basis. For us, 70% of the time, it's always Facebook. It's our #1 channel coming in for sales. I know that people think Facebook is dying or a dinosaur, but there is a lot of things you can do on Facebook. Also, the advertising that Facebook offers is the best on Facebook itself because that's where it started. So when you're talking about lead campaigns and stuff like that, that's typically where we build them, just because we have the most results with actual conversion with Facebook itself. To gain interest, I always use Instagram because it just has a lot of trendy things, but you can also use TikTok to gain interest. So I just identify the platforms that I'm trying to gain interest from. They're seeing me, and then I try to become the authority in that space on that specifically. And then I do the exact same thing for each platform. What is the platform asking for you to do? It tells you exactly what it wants you to do. It sets these breadcrumbs. And we typically do that with just 4 posts a week and some story shares, but we take that social media plan and we make sure that that content funnel matches up on our website. So when they see it here, they see it here, and that's where the magic happens because they've now have trust. Seen it here, it brought me in here, and seeing it again, it's all of the same information. That's the beginning step 1 of the buying process, in my experience. Yes.
Where you want them to go. You're cutting those steps as little as possible. Less than 3 is what I would say to get from social media to the page.
A great way to access multiple links from your platforms, if you have, is your link, like creating a link tree. Websites also create this link holding place, but you can even now start to count how many clicks are going into things. So keep in mind with building your perfect customer, and we're going to talk more about this in our next one on December 8th as well, because we're going to go into content funnels specifically, and video marketing. But in order to do the visual branding, I felt like we had to start with perfect customer. Keep in mind, you can have multiple perfect customers. This customer is going to evolve. Just keep touching her up, making sure she looks great. And then you build another one, and then you build another one. A lot of people say that if you have 1,000 true followers, you have a multi-million-dollar company. So that's why I started out with building social connection here. I hope to build relationship connection with each of you. And then I hope to have 9 other followers that come from this room, and I can be one of your true followers. So you now have gained 1, right? So if we can build 1,000 true followers with our purpose and our passion of how to sell, you will have a multi-million-dollar company. I see it on multiple speakers. That's what I'm working toward. So, and if people are like 1,000, you already have 10. How can you gain 1 true follower a week? By helping people, right? Think about that. I'm going to take it over to Ms. Springs. That's way too long.
No, it did not.
You guys.
Okay, hi. I have a social media that I focus a lot on education. So I want to use this and clip it into segments, especially on my stories. So Sonia introduced me a little bit earlier. We are partners, and this is for simply promotions, but I do own a company called Be Efficient Solutions. Also, is creative, and I have a team, and we focus a lot on websites, as you heard, visual brand design, but I provide growth through strategy and design. Is pretty much the best way to say it, tagline wise. I want to just breeze through with everyone. Yes. I don't know how to use this.
I know.
Computer.
Computer.
Okay. So if you haven't thought of it already, are you aligning your brand on all of this? But you probably think you already are, and you probably are, but we can always do better because marketing, there's always a plethora of knowledge and that you can learn something new every single day. So I was excited to hear that a lot of people here have a good handle on that because that means you're in the right direction, plus you're in this room and that's awesome. So first I'd like to talk about aligning your brand online and going through a logo design. So visual brand design is so much more than a pretty element. There's a lot involved when you have a design because it's the voice of your company. We all read books by their covers. No, I know that is true. So one of the first things that is going to spark something in your mind is what you look like. So when you think of those things, it's a logo element, the color selection, and the fonts, and it serves your messaging. So if your visual brand is not pointing back to your messaging, is it really working for you? So, are you confident in your brand? That's a question I like to ask a lot because we have these incredible businesses that we've put together. We've put so much work into it and we are experts in our field. Are we confident sharing our work? Are we confident sharing our website? Are we confident sharing our profiles? So, if you have this already, or if you don't, or maybe you need a refresh, when you do accurate visual branding, you have a brand element, you have a font package, you have a color palette, and you have a logo. When you're creating these things, you want to think of the symbolism in your brand. What does your company stand for? What is it that you do? What does your future look like? It's very symbolic. I mean, not a logo that you're going to slap on something to get started. You're making an investment to last you decades. Because after a while, people see that logo and they know before they even see the name who it is. Because that's after so much consistency. You've told your audience who you are with these colors, with these fonts. So with font packages, this is just talking strictly about designing your logo and pretty like auditing yourself on if you match these to this criteria. Is it printer friendly? Because you want to be able to put it in multiple different places. Color palette. This is something I like to talk about so much. A lot of psychology in color. So a great example that I use a lot is food. So the colors, and there's always someone in the room that knows, so I'm just going to answer it. The colors that signify hunger, like make us feel hunger, because color gives us emotion. Yes, orange, red, all of those hormones. So McDonald's, we've all seen it. So there's a lot of symbolism to think about. This is a nonprofit for pregnancy awareness, but we wanted something feminine, but also confident. Pink portrays that color. Same with all of these. These were all thought of in a psychology way because we're trying to still speak to our customer with our visual brand design without having to say a word. So then with the logo, we want it to have, we're going to be confident in it. All of these have a lot of things in common. Is it serving your messaging? Is it giving your customer the feeling you want them to have? Is it technically, going to serve your business with, actual printed? But mostly, is your visual brand design speaking to your customer? Okay, so consistent visual branding. Where are you going? Well, so you have all of this, right? Where are you putting it? Because I know there's so many people, and I put this into my process is having a session to tell them you've made this investment for this brand package that you've put so much work and thought into. You have to know how to use it. So you want to make sure that for your brand element, which I'll go back and just point out real quick. These are brand elements. That's the symbol that they're going to recognize you by. So think about what yours is. Your brand element, you're going to use that for your website, for your graphics, for your print, for merch if you have it, and your profile pictures. I have some examples down here. Profile pictures, merch.
Think about the McDonald's art. That's
Yeah.
a brand element that's common.
Font packages, you're going to use them for your graphics, your website, and your print. You want everything to match. You can import all of your fonts. Color palette, same thing. Logo, same thing. But all of these together, if you're missing one, you're not going to have the consistency to build that longevity that you want with your customer. So.
You are.
I know. Well, I could touch a little more, and we're running down on time, so I want to honor that, but I do want to touch a little bit on these things. When you're making graphics, put your logo on everything, watermark it, it's yours. But make your customer know that you have ownership over that content. Put your logo on every little tiny thing. Website too, just make sure it's all consistent, because if I see, in my mind, I go to an Instagram page and it's red, and I go to their page and it's green, it's like, this is the company, I'm not sure. So that's why consistency is important. You're telling your customer who you are, what you're about, what you want them to feel, and it's going to attract that person that is ideal for you. In addition to everything that Sonia said.
Consistency is key between both these
Mhm.
things. That's why these topics go so great together. You don't know who you're talking to, how do you know how to.
You don't know what you look like, yeah. You have no idea what you look like. All right, so I created a little audit for everybody. If you take a look at it, sounds like a scoring system. So you give yourself 1 point for everything your business is currently has prepared. Not if you're using it, just if you have it prepared. So do you have a professional brand package? Do you have branded marketing graphics? Is your website branded and your social media? And do you have branded print marketing? So is your visual brand sprinkled everywhere? So give your a point for that. And then are you currently using it? So if you have it, and then are you, expand on the thought, are you using it? And then I like these ones. So does your visual brand align with your messaging? Does your visual brand speak to your perfect customer? Is your visual brand designed to grow with your company? That's a big one I didn't even spend a lot of time on, because, you know, you can have, I use yoga as an example. You can have a lotus flower, that's great. What sets you aside from every other yoga instructor? Not to be offensive by any means, but it's true. So is it going to grow with you? Are you going to offer yoga forever? Or are you going to offer other services? So think about that. Is it built to last into the future? And then are your graphics professional and consistent? If you don't have a marketing team, you can find tools that allow you to find in those without having to spend too much time on it. And then are your graphics structured to your pillars of marketing? We didn't get too much into pillars of marketing, but you want to make sure that your graphics are, again, put your logo is on every single one of those to match it. And then if you scored, you have a little system down here you can add yourself up with. And that's all I got. Are we on time?
We started a little bit late. You know,
I've got for questions, if anybody has any at all.
visual brand goes with messaging really heavy. So this is the service that we offer as far as a brand guideline kit. It's actually really affordable. But what we do is I go through your messaging, your mission statement, your bios. You know, we also take a look at your website to those keywords. And our lovely here goes through your visual and builds, you know, make sure your logo and everything is really connected. And that's how you build, you know, your marketing program is based on that brand messaging consistency and that visual consistency that she pointed out, like really.
And if you already have it, then just make sure you're utilizing it, because it's such an investment and it's a way to portray messaging without having to develop actual content. You're just telling the customer who you are. And after so long, you've trained the brain for them to know who you are before they even see you. Yeah.
Any questions you guys on visual branding guidelines? And you set your company sets these standards. So if you're the business owner, it's your job to now have brand guideline standards for every single person who touches your brand. Think about that. You're letting them borrow your company information every time they create a post, every time they create an email marketing, like that is your brand representative of what you want it to be, what your customer experience is. Even if you work for a company, you can control the customer experience that you offer for that company and the way you guidelines and standards.
Something that helps us in our organization is I create a template for flyers. We have different programs.
Mhm.
So to be consistency on our programs, I create a template with a guideline
Mhm.
based on our branding guideline.
Yeah. templates
So
are-
I was like, okay, this is the font that you're going to use on this is the size.
Yeah.
If this size don't fit, you're going to this size. So after they create their flyer for, let's say, food bank, they pass it through us and we approval and they are
Yeah.
good to release. So that
Program,
way we keep consistent.
program to help them with brand, identity and consistency. Canva,
Oh, yeah, so
she lives in
Canva,
Canva.
Canva's great. I use a lot of systems like Adobe, those things for design, but if you're looking for just making content for graphics, Canva is, anyone can. It's great.
You build a brand kit inside of it, you can hold your font in there, you can hold your colors
I'm
in there.
training a lot of people on how to use it because it's that user friendly, and I think it's one of the best tools we have available to us as entrepreneurs. So, yeah, Canva is a huge one, yeah.
So coming up next month on December 8th, we have the amazing Mia Room going to join us. She's going to talk about how to add video marketing into your routine. Because video marketing is king. It serves 86% more than other marketing on our main platforms. So how are you combating that today? A lot of people are scared of video marketing, so she'll show you some tips and tricks on how to activate that on a weekly scale to really start becoming authority in your video space, but as well as your content marketing space, because each, like on a platform, stories, posts, and like video is all its own space. You can actually own authority in many different spaces on each platform. LinkedIn has blogs and other features, right? So how are you capitalizing on those features? We'll also talk about content marketing funnels, since we've talked about visual content so much and perfect customer. So now how do we funnel people in to that system that gets them there and they're like, oh, this was so easy.
This is the foundation of the deep dive into what Sonia has prepared to teach everyone. Yeah, I feel like with this one, it's important for this instructional phase to you can't do what you're about to teach everyone without these things. This is the bare minimum to have to find. Yeah.
I have a random question. The girl with the black hat, I know her and I can't think of her name.
She was very, very friendly.
Yeah.
Yes.
Um,
I was trying to find her email,
I do
like
remember
Dragon
marketing,
something or.
yeah,
you.
her name, her nickname is T, but I can't remember her first name. She came to one of our
I'm
marketing.
like Dragon and I'm typing in Dragon and it's not coming up, so Red Dragon.
Also, if you need help, just reach out, like, this is what we do all day. That's what's gonna make us a good chamber member, and a good community partner. That's why we're doing these classes as well. Yes, it's helping us learn how to communicate this better and do this professionally, but our main goal is to help you. So if you have questions, please reach out. If it, evolves into more, great, but if not, we can still help with basic questions. That's what we do every day, and people reach out to us on social media, so it's not anything.
The Sender Promotions, Instagram and Facebook is a great resource for free content.
My email is on these cards if you have a more in-depth question, right? And they're right up here in the front. And I'm Sonia.simplypromotions.marketing, and my brand is simplypromotions.marketing.
I was very excited that we were able to do that.
The handle is another thing that can align perfectly for you guys on each platform. Like I know all your handles. That's great.
Right.
So next class is December 8th, January, right?
January 12th, you're gonna get David with DCA Media. He taught me everything, honestly. So starting 10 years ago, he's been my coach for over 10 years with marketing core values. So I'm very excited to have him. And then next month we have Miss Mia Roon, who will teach you about video marketing and how to market.
And you'll be here for everyone.
I will be here for everyone. Yeah. And I'm trying to get her to hear it too. So maybe she'll do content or, consistent messaging next month.
If there's not a tropical storm.
Not in December.
No, that's crazy.
We're not done.
A long time.
We have two more
Thank you
weeks.
everyone for coming. Yeah.
Thank you.
We're gonna put these worksheets and everything out, so if you want to redo them, and they'll probably even improve, and they'll be on our website. Thank you, guys. Bye, Zoomy folks. We appreciate you and hope you got something out of it. Please reach out if you need anything.
I don't know, I think we did this, so.
Thank you, Sheila. Thank you, Sydney.
Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.